Hey guys, good evening, or should I say good morning? I know it's a little late, but I always promise to get these off to you guys before I turn in for the evening. First of all, really a big shout out to everyone for coming to the show today. If this is your first time, welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. We're now on the air. Pretty soon we'll be on the air almost 4 years, but we're on the air over 3 years. And do want to thank you, whether this is your first time coming, if you're coming back, well, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. Really do appreciate that. This is Saturday's show. I know it's in the wee hours of Sunday, but just so much going on with studying and getting ready for 3 finals at school. As you guys know, I'm working on a graduate degree, my master's and my PhD. And there's just a lot going on. And today I had my hike. I had a nice 4-hour hike. So that was really, really good. And I always like to get these shows out as quickly as I can, but sometimes things get in the way. But I always promise to get them out to you before I turn in. All right, guys, so welcome. And another big kudos to everyone. I want to let you guys know that we are on my brand new professional laptop, which is all AI savvy and all that. And you can tell the video is a lot better. It's a lot crisper on this laptop. And so I'm really grateful for that. So hopefully you guys will really enjoy the episodes now, because they're even going to have a higher quality of video, which I'm really ecstatic about. If you have never checked out believemeachieve.com, well, friends, what are you waiting for? Go check it out after the show. Not now, but after the show, you can check that out. And I think you're going to be very amazed with the short form and as well as the long form content that you can get from Inspirations for Your Life, as well as the tech show. And there's so much other stuff on there. So definitely check it out. So our master topic, ladies and gentlemen, that's what Saturday is. It kicks it off. It's the power of story exploring people, ideas, and events that shape us. We're on Series 4. We are on show 33. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is episode 1. And again, a very, very big welcome to everyone here. So, welcome, as I said. If you are thirsty and you'd like to get yourself something to drink, like some RO water, or maybe something to eat, maybe a drink or a snack, feel free to go do that and hurry on back. So another welcome to you again to Inspirations for Your Life, the show where ideas meet impact and voice, well, shapes our vision of the world. I'm your host, podcast coach, serial entrepreneur, video producer, graduate student, engineer, and so much more, and a person that is passionate about learning and education and helping others do the same. And it is a privilege and pleasure to be here as your host, John C. Morley, to conduct another great show with you. So together, both of us, we're going to dive deep into the influential forces behind cultural leadership and communication. From powerful speeches that stirred nations to everyday influencers who ignite change, this series voices things of influence, and it's about decoding what makes a message stick and why some voices resonate louder and longer. Authenticity is the heartbeat of confidence, in case you didn't know that. So let's discover how influence is crafted, earned, and passed on. All right, guys? So let's start with point number 1. Voices of Influence, episode beginning, the power of single speech. A single speech can shape a generation. Think of Martin Luther King, or his thing where he talked about "I have a dream," or one of my favorites. I don't know if you guys know the movie. It's been out for a while, and it's called Ducks. Basically, Ducks Go Together movie. It was a really, really great movie. The Ducks Go Together movie. It was about hockey. And it was called the Mighty Ducks. And their slogan was "Ducks fly together." When the weather's bad, ducks fly together. And they had all these weird things. So the characters in this movie were interesting. The captain on the team really wanted to be captain, but the players started realizing that he's kind of a bully. And then also the new coach that came in, well, he was going to ruffle some feathers because he believed that maybe he didn't earn that captainship. And the main characters in the movie were amazing. Gordon Bombay and Charlie Conway. Charlie Conway was supposed to be this model student and athlete, but really he had an ego to him. And that ego was affecting the play of the team. And when the coach came to him and said, you know what, Charlie, if that's the way you're going to be, then I'm going to bench you. And he was like, and they decided not to show up. And what made things more challenging is his mother started dating this coach, which made things even, well, a little bit stickier. So I think when we talk about, speeches, or we talk about momentous moments, or even Steve Jobs' Stanford commencement address, breaking it down is what makes these words unforgettable. Why timing matters and how delivery transforms our ideas into movements. Now, those are movements that are going to impact your life and other people that you would come in contact with. But I know sometimes you're going to be like, hey, John, like, we need results now. And I get that, right? But what happened to Charlie in this movie was amazing, because the coach was saying, that you can't play hockey if you're going to be the way you are, right? The plot was absolutely brilliant. Now, if you're wondering, what was it about? Well, it was all about the fact that the Mighty Ducks, they fly together. Okay, it was youth hockey, and they started as a ragtag group of what they call losers, unfortunately. And through the guidance of a reluctant coach, he transformed this abominable team into a successful and united team. And the main theme revolves around overcoming personal struggles, learning teamwork, and finding redemption through sports. This video and movie is very interesting because, when you have a captain and that captain is so headstrong, right? And an ego, like, they need me, they have to have me. Coach is like, no, they don't need you. If that's the way you're going to be, we'd rather not have you. And that started to hit hard to Charlie. But it didn't happen right away. It took him missing a few games. And then he was willing to be on the bench. And he was willing to put in his due time. It's interesting, guys, how all this comes together and how a movie can be so transformative, or even a song. There's a song that I love, and I can't play it for you, obviously, because of copyright reasons. But the song is I don't know what to say. Do you know the song I Don't Know What to Say? This is a song that I think is pretty remarkable. And so it's amazing, okay? This song has come up in some very interesting times in my life. And so when we think about this and we think about, how this affects people, right? It's amazing. It's really, really amazing how this can transform into something, right? And this song, every time I hear it, just brings me to an amazing transformation. And what I want to say about it is that it has a very unique way of basically taking what might be challenging and then repackaging it to something else. So I love this song. Music is amazing. Point number 2, modern thought leaders to watch. From Brené Brown to Simon Sinek, today's thought leaders redefine influence in the digital age, learning what sets them apart, how they build trust, and how their messages cut through the noise to shape industries and inspire change. I think a lot of people out there want to inspire change. I know somebody who's in basically they're in marketing, and a lot of people in marketing. It's not nice to say, but they have this kind of they have this kind of ego, and the ego is saying that you know I'm better than you. But I think what I've learned in all these situations is you've got to be humble, guys. You got to be humble. And you got to learn sometimes the hard way. I said to you that we don't grow when we're comfortable. We grow when we're uncomfortable. Number 3, how language shapes public opinion. Words aren't just words, guys. They're tools that shape perception. Exploring how political campaigns can mudsling and how media can, well, take a person that might be down on their luck and really give them the inspiration to make changes. Now, the only difference is the belief, but sometimes music, sometimes a culture, sometimes a good friend can make the difference. But companies that market use these strategies and the language to sway public opinion, sometimes subtly and sometimes very abruptly. We've been hearing many times, and this kind of hurts me because, I am in media, is that I write about the truth all the time. But a lot of people don't write about the truth. They write about what they get paid for. They write about what sells newspapers. That's a big problem, guys. Number 4, viral moments that shifted the culture. What makes a moment go viral? And why does it matter so much? From hashtags to sound bites, cultural tipping points that have started with a phrase, a clip, or a post, or changed conversation across, well, I'm going to say the world. And I think this is something that affects a lot of people, directly and indirectly, by changing the conversations across the globe. We never know what's going to transform. Number 5, breaking down a memorable quote. We all have favorite quotes, but what makes them so sticky? Well, it's the iconic lines and uncovering the psychological linguistics and emotional elements that make a phrase endure across decades. One of my favorites, I'm sure you guys know that it's a speech. And the speech, he starts up by saying, great moments are born from great opportunity. Okay. And I think that's a very, very interesting thing. I think these are very interesting things for everybody to understand because I know that this is something that maybe it's something that people don't really realize. They don't realize like why it's happening. And I think the why happens because people just, well, they get stuck in their own world. And I think that can be a serious, serious problem. So number 5. Number 5 is breaking down a memorable quote. We all have favorite quotes, but what makes them so sticky, as I said to you, it's how they interface with our world, how they interface with us and our personality. And no joke, guys, our emotions. That's where they come from. That's where they come from. And so, this amazing speech, which I was telling you about, it was a speech. It was great moments are born from great opportunity. You probably remember the speech. And it goes just like this, and I quote, "Great moments are born from great opportunity." It's a famous line from a pregame speech delivery. And so this speech is amazing because this changed the trajectory of the team. And guess what? They won. They won. And I think sometimes when we hear this or when something can change us, it has a way of surprising us. And he said something very interesting in the movie Miracle. And it goes just like this. Quote, "Great moments are born from great opportunity." And that's what we have here tonight, boys. That's what we've earned here tonight. One game. One game. They might have won many others, but not tonight. If we played them 10 times, they might win 9, but not this game, not tonight. Tonight, we skate with them and we shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world. You were born to be hockey players, every one of you. And you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. I'm sick and tired of hearing about what a great hockey team the Soviets have. And he used a word I'm not going to use. This is your time. Now go out there and take it. Guys, that is so powerful. And it's been used to inspire other youth and other people as well. Influencers versus true influence. What's the difference, guys, between someone who has followers and someone who drives real change? I think it's about digital popularity with long-term impact and explore how influence is earned but not bought. There are people that have thousands of followers, but you know what they don't have? They don't have truth. They don't have integrity. When I get followers, they connect with me because of the truth, because of the integrity, because of the stories I bring them, because they're real. They're not made up. I think that's a big confusion in our world today. Influencers and the true influence. Number 7, the psychology behind persuasive messaging. From Aristotle to modern neuroscience, persuasive messaging has principles rooted in how our brains work. This episode today is unpacking techniques like repetition, storytelling, emotional anchoring, real world examples. People don't buy features. People buy solutions because of the way they make them feel. And several marketing companies out there, they will exploit you. They'll figure out how to trip you up or maybe make you feel vulnerable so you have to go do something, or maybe will appeal to your heartstring. I'll never forget, I went to one of these charitable dinners. And when you go to these dinners, you're going to give money, right? But not in the way this one went. And I'm not going to give you the name. It was in New Jersey. And normally this event was put on by the community. But the one year they decided to give it to this foundation. So you paid, I don't know, it was $150, $200 for a ticket. So they're making their money. I remember them having Cracker Jack boxes, and I had a team of people with me that I brought. So there were like 8 or 10 people on the team. So I said, I'll take 10 boxes. I figured, maybe they're going to mark them up a little bit. Normally they're a couple bucks. I said, maybe they're going to be like $8 or something, with the ball game. So I figured $80, right? Comes back to me and he says, how many did you want? I said, I'll take a 10. I said, it's like $80. He says, yes, it is $80, but it's actually $800 because it's $80 per box. I was like, what? I said, you're selling Cracker Jacks for $80 a box? He said, yes. He says, they put a prize in there. There could be a $10 prize, $12 prize. I'm like, that's insane. I bought them, but I was not happy. Then other people came around and tried to do their 50-50 and stuff. But the part that really irked me the most was when I went to the event, they required me to have a credit card on file. I paid for everything. Why do you have to have a credit card on file? Well, they have this like giving board. And when you come with a team of people, you want to look good. And one of the, I'll call them shamers, because they were on stage and they were talking about their kid and how they had this certain disease. And they put really professional people on there to, professionally rob from your wallet. And what I mean by that is they put a dagger in that you felt like a horrible person if you didn't give. And it's one thing to ask for a couple bucks, but then there was this board. And a couple of people came by and they said, oh, John, they said, you're not on the board yet. I said, what board? They said, well, you're not going to give tonight. I said, I already gave. He said, well, you haven't given to the event tonight. I said, yes, I have. I said, I just gave before you came up. Oh, well, you probably didn't give enough because your name's not on the board yet. And I don't know. I think I gave like $100, $200. And she's like, oh, you didn't give enough. And I said, well, how much does it cost to get on the board? She's like, well, not that you have to, but I'm sure you're going to want to be on the board so you look good to all your guests. It was like $600 to get on the board. And you were on the board for maybe about 5 minutes. And then they came around and said, oh, look, you're on the board. Like a whole bunch of BS. And then after the event was all over, and them kept bleeding you for money, they sent a text. Actually, I got a text from my bank on Monday because when I had made the transaction, it wasn't a normal type transaction. So they wanted to validate that it was true before they would pay it. And then I remember about a week later, I got a thank you. And I got a text. And then I got, well, we really have to keep this wonderful effort going, yada, yada. And I'm like, this is like extortion. And I'd never go back to their event again. Number 9. Micro-influencers creating macro impact. Forget millions of followers. Micro-influencers are building loyal communities that act, buy, and believe. Looking at case studies and how niche authority can be even more effective than mass appeal. I think numbers have always driven people to say this is the way it's going to be. But I want to tell you that's not how it's going to be. They try to tell you that it's about numbers, But the real truth comes in the character of the person that's actually, well, creating the content and interacting with people. So you can say that somebody has X followers, that's great, but that's really not going to get you anything because those people might come and go. This happens on some platforms, but I got to tell you, the people that follow me generally follow me and don't unfollow me because they know that I'm bringing value to them. I'm not selling them anything. I'm not pushing anything on them. I'm pushing suggestions that are free to help them improve the quality of their lives. If they don't do anything, I don't gain, I don't win. And if they do something I don't gain or win, I just feel happy if they do it, right? Number 10, political versus the cultural influence. Influence doesn't just come from power, it comes from presence. Comparing how politicians use influence through authority while cultural leaders shift mindsets through art, media, and lifestyle. The art of storytelling and leadership is priceless, guys. Great leaders are great storytellers. From corporate vision to nonprofit mission stories, they humanize leadership and they have their own narratives. They have this magical way of building connections, inspiring teams, and rallying people toward a shared goal. How leaders handle crisis. When things go wrong, words matter most. Learn how great leaders navigate public crisis with transparency, empathy, and control, and how poor messaging can escalate rather than diffuse. You don't need to hire a company to, let's say, build your reputation. Why not act accountable in the first place? You don't need to do that. From activists to icons, how do everyday advocates become global symbols of change? Well, it's a journey from personal passion to public platforms, and what keeps the message authentic as the spotlight grows. Celebrity endorsements, do they work? Well, do famous faces still sell? Well, diving into psychology behind celebrity influence, brand alignment, and the thin line between credibility and cash grabs in today's influencer economy, the truth is most people out there will be drawn in by the superficialness of celebrities, even their fake endorsements. Digital platforms as modern megaphones as well are big problems because they're not truthful. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. I'll catch you real soon. Be well, everyone.